Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we turn confusing corporate filings into something you can actually understand. Today we're diving into a proxy statement, which sounds boring, but trust me, it's like peeking into a company's playbook before a big game. You might be surprised by some of the hidden strategies companies are trying to pull. This proxy statement is from Sprinklr, a company that helps businesses manage their customer experience. We're going to uncover what's on the agenda for their annual meeting, how much their executives are making, and what it all means for the future of the company. If you find those deep dives interesting, make sure you're subscribed. We also have a Discord community linked in the description below for even more discussions. First things first, this document is a notice for Sprinklr's annual meeting happening in June 2025. Stockholders or people who own shares in the company get to vote on important decisions. This year, they'll be voting on electing directors, approving executive pay, and choosing an accounting firm. One of the main things up for vote is electing 3 directors to the board. These are the people who oversee the company's strategy and performance. The nominees are John Hauser, Kevin Haverty, and Reggie Thomas. If elected, they'll serve until 2028. The board of directors is recommending that stockholders vote for all 3 nominees. They want these people on the board, and it's very important to understand why and if it makes sense. It's important that board members are independent, meaning they're not too cozy with the company's management. The board has determined that several of their members are independent according to the New York Stock Exchange listing standards. This is important to ensure the board is making unbiased decisions. The company decided to split the top roles, Chief Executive Officer and Chairman of the Board. Rory Reid is now the CEO and Reggie Thomas is the chairman, plus Eileen Schloss is the lead independent director, acting as a check and balance. All of this is about ensuring the board operates independently from the CEO. The board of directors plays a key role in overseeing how the company manages risk. The audit committee looks at financial risks, and the compensation committee makes sure pay structures don't encourage excessive risk taking. Speaking of committees, the audit committee is responsible for making sure the financial statements are accurate. They review everything with both the company's management and the independent accounting firm. The compensation committee decides how much the executives get paid. Their goal is to attract and keep talented people, reward them for good performance, and align their interests with the stockholders. Another vote is on executive compensation, or how much the top bosses get paid. This vote is advisory, so it's not binding, but the board will take the results into consideration. Let's look into some of the specific executive pay numbers. Here are the named executive officers, or NEOs, which includes the top leaders like Rory Reid, the current CEO, Manish Sarin, the chief financial officer, and other top dogs, including former ones. In 2025, it was tricky because lots of the leadership changed around. And because things were a bit messy, the company didn't set any firm performance goals for bonuses. The board looked at the whole picture to determine bonus payments. One big change going forward, a portion of executive pay will be tied to performance. 75% will depend on how the company's stock does compared to similar companies, and 25% will be based on revenue and operating income targets. So getting those big payouts depends on real results. Because the company didn't set specific goals, the bonus were funded for the year at just 50% of their target annual cash bonus opportunities, except for specific arrangements due to transition or guarantees. This means they got only half of what was expected. Manish Sarin, for instance, got about $216K as a bonus. That's better than nothing, but not quite the full payout. Executives also get stock, which is meant to align their interests with the company's long-term success. For example, the CEO Rory Reid received a lot of stock awards with millions of shares that vest over time if he sticks around and hits certain targets. These executives have agreements that spell out what they'd get if they were terminated or if the company was sold. Also known as a change in control, these include things like severance pay, continued health insurance, and accelerated vesting of their stock options. For example, former co-CEO Track Pham got severance, which included a payment for his target bonus, plus money for health insurance and an additional stipend. Here is one of the interesting parts, and definitely an important one in terms of optics. Every year, companies have to disclose how much more the CEO makes than the average employee. The CEO to median employee pay ratio at Sprinklr 76.3 to 1. The median employee made about $55K, while the CEO made over $42 million in that year. But what's also important is that it says the board didn't really use this number when they were making pay decisions. Let's quickly touch on clawbacks. The company has a clawback policy, which allows them to recover incentive-based compensation from executives if there's a financial restatement. This is about holding people accountable if something goes wrong. Sprinklr uses KPMG as their independent accounting firm, and the audit committee is asking stockholders to ratify that decision. There were about $3.1 million in fees for audit services, which include checking the books and reviewing financial documents. There are some transactions with related persons, meaning deals with people who have close ties to the company. For example, Sprinklr uses Yeren Inc., a company owned by Raggy Thomas, for training services and have paid it approximately $0.2 million in the past year. Hellman & Friedman, a major stockholder, has a deal where they get to nominate someone to the board. This ensures they have a voice in how the company is run. Alright, that's the summary of what's in the Sprinklr proxy statement. Now it's time for my take. Sprinklr is in a tough spot. The leadership changes, the need for big-time performance-based incentives, and the fact that they are waiving an accounting firm to make it look transparent are all really obvious. One risk is that their product isn't that sticky and that their business has been trending down in the last year, so now they are incentivizing executives with stock based on relative performance. What's your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.